Good afternoon, Tom Ginn, Elevate Your Profits. Hey, I just wanted to come on here for just a couple minutes, probably 10, 15 minutes max, and share with you. Got some announcements. Thursday, Mark Gasser and I are doing a webinar on the 8 silent but deadly wealth killers. And today I'll be just talking briefly about principle number 2, and I'll cover that here in a moment. We talked the other day about the number one wealth killers not having the right mindset, not operating from the wrong paradigms or belief systems or attitudes about money. So that's number one, Warren Buffett. Number 2, today I'll be talking a little bit about the high cost of procrastination. I'll get to it tomorrow. And I'm going to share some numbers with you that may blow your mind. But I also want to encourage you to register. There's going to be some information, a link to register, because anybody that registers and attends, I'm going to provide my book to you. And here's the book right here. Got a guess. Hey, Scott. Hey, thanks for jumping on. Share this, tag, and share with your friends. But what I'm be doing, anybody that registers for Thursday at 7:30, I'm going to give you my book, Understanding Debt and How It Impacts Your Wealth Building Strategies. I wrote this book about 6 years ago, and the amount of debt American people have in this country is staggering, and it is killing people's futures financially. So there's some myths around debts, and so that book will give you a better understanding and awareness of how devastating it is, whether it be student debt loans or whether it be car loans or leases or mortgages, credit cards, what the real impact is, and how we've been sold a myth that debt is good. And that book will outline and destroy those myths about debt. But today, I'm just going to do a quick teaser here of what we'll be talking about on Thursday evening at 7:30 Eastern. And again, anybody that registers and attends, that's the key, will get this book. I'll email. It's a digital book that I've created 6 years ago. It really breaks down the myths. So that's the bonus for registering and showing up. I'd like to get that out to you. And you can share that with any friends or family, whoever you have out there, because it may not be relevant to you, but with the facts, I can probably say it does impact you one way or the other. So that's my gift. Mark Gasser and I's bonus for registering and showing up is that book. Today, excuse me, my throat's a little dry. Let me get some water here. I covered the 8 silent killers, but yesterday talked about the number one problem is not having the right mind. Today it's procrastination. Let's take a look at what the real cost of procrastination is. The real cost of procrastination. I want to go back to some facts here real quickly, because it's important to understand that only 3.5% of the American households will ever create a net worth of over $1 million. Only 3.5%. When you understand the wealth and the amount of money that goes through families' hands, and only 3.5% can create a net worth of over $1 million, it's unacceptable in my eyes. You know, another sad fact that most people will be in a bind if they missed even one paycheck. And there's other statistics about that, how many are that far inches away from bankruptcy, losing their home, being homeless. I'm not making this up. These are real numbers. 40% of the American people can't pay an unexpected $1,000 expense, such as emergency room visits or car repair, without dipping into savings or using their credit card. 63% of the American people can't even come up with $500 for an emergency. And 64% of the American people are going to retire broke. No assets, no money, relying on a system that may not even be there called Social Security. 45% of those claim they have no money put aside for retirement. And 19% will retire with less than $10,000 to their name. 10,000 to the name. So I just wanted to cover that, because let's talk about the number 2 principle, that if you don't understand this, how it's killing your wealth building strategies. I'm going to do some illustrations here. Keep in mind the numbers I'm using here are based on some assumptions, based on past investment returns. But any information you need, consult a professional to get specific numbers. This is for illustration purpose only, but the numbers don't change radically by changing the numbers slightly. I love what Warren Buffett says. 2 rules to live by and succeed financially. 2 rules. Never lose money. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, never forget. Rule number 1. This rule applies to procrastination, because you're losing money. You're losing money by putting it off. And let's take a look at some staggering statistic. It is a wealth building killer, and I'm going to just let the numbers speak for themselves. Here again, only 3.5% of the American people ever accumulate net worth over $1 million. And let's talk about what the traditional way that people look to build an assets or build wealth is. Traditionally put money away long-term, consistency over time with good investments, so on and so forth. That's the traditional way that most people are trying to get there over a 40-year working. Let's take a look at somebody age 20. They have to put away $319 a month. Not age 20, probably not that much money in their budget. They're just getting out of high school, maybe still in college. They haven't got any traction of having any real income. So that it's going to cost them. Wait 5 years, that moves to $440. Just waiting 5 years, now the amount of money you have to put away to get the same result is staggering. It becomes more and more difficult to accomplish that objective. When you age 30, you're going to have to put $633 a month away. Now you're in your prime. You got a family. You got your career. You got all these expenses of life that are coming down on you. You wait to age 35, you're going to have to put $664. You see the cost of waiting? I'm going to show you another graph here in a moment. You wait to age 45, you're going to have to put $1,833 away on a monthly basis. You wait to age 50. Unfortunately, this is where a lot of people start saying, well, now it's time for me to start planning for my retirement. Okay, keep in mind, most people don't even put money away in their 401k. Most people. It's less than 35 or 40% put any contributions. So now you're that person, you're going to have to put $2,831 a month away. That's the cost of waiting. The cost of procrastination is the life you could have lived. So I'm going to show you something that when I first was introduced when I started in financial service, understand the compounding effect of money, time value of money. You put a little bit today, you keep a little bit every day. And let's take a look at this scenario. Let's take a look at 2 twins, Joseph and Mark. And Joseph says, you know what, I want to start, I got a part-time job. I got a job. I want to put money away for my retirement. He feels that's an important strategy. If he just funded an IRA, $2,000 for only a 6-year period, or an 8-year period, that's $16,000 invested. And look what happens. That would grow and never made another contribution. Now, this is on assumption on a historical track record of what the U.S. economy has performed in stocks, mutual funds, that type of thing. But it's based on that number, $2.2 million. While his twin brother, Mark, says, I'm going to go and have some fun. I'm going to travel around. I'll start saving money for my retirement. Well, he's going to have to put from age 27 to age 65, $2,000 a year, every year. He's going to have to invest $76,000 at that same market rate, same conditions. He would accumulate 1.5 million. At least he did something, but he has to. What would you rather do? Put a little bit of money, let life take over, let the compounding effect money work. The difference here is $756,000 between the two. That is the cost of procrastination. When do you want to start? Age 50? Or if you got children, would you want them to start when they're younger? They're going to have an opportunity to build an asset or a net worth of over $1 million. Understand some very basic principles, but you got to have the right mindset. You got to have a belief that this will work. And this is not hypothetical. Numbers work exactly. The eighth wonder of the world is the magic of compound interest and the time value of money. You can't afford to put off your decisions to save for the long term. It's just going to cost you more in the future and be devastating to you financially. So that's rule number 2, is the cost of procrastination. Yeah, it's a sad situation, Scott, and that's one of the things we want to do is, help people become more. One of the things we're doing is a lot of people are in that situation, but there are solutions. If you're 50, what do I do to build $1 million asset? You haven't got time to or the money or the resources in your normal budget or your discretionary income to get there. So what are the solutions? Mark and I are going to paint the picture of, you've got to solve these 8 principles. When you solve them, be aware of them. And then what are the options that you can create an asset that has a value of $1 million? It gives you an income, provide the retirement or the lifestyle you want. I didn't invent any of this. I've applied these principles in life. I call in my life, I'm financially, I've got critical mass. I have the assets to support the lifestyle that I determined that I want for myself and my family into the future indefinitely. It's a legacy, but it's my goal. I've applied these principles. I just want to make sure that Mark and I want to make sure you have options available to you through Elevate Your Profits. So the cost, number 2, this is a killer, wealth killing strategy. The numbers don't lie. Facts don't lie. Only 3.5% of the American people are going to have a net worth over $1 million. You know what? It's all possible for everybody out there. It's all possible. So think of the consequences if you did nothing. Just think of those consequences. This is where most people don't think about the consequences. I'll get to it. That's important, but not today. I got other goals, but it's really costly. And poor is a definition that I was introduced 2 years ago. It's passing over opportunity repeating. Opportunities come in front of us all the time. And when you look at successful, wealthy people, they take the time to investigate and make a value judgment in relationship to where they're at. And they take a look. Are you looking for opportunities? Are you looking for solutions? Because most people pass them by repeatedly. My disturbing comment here today, don't let opportunity pass you. Take the time to investigate. What I'm doing, what I've done in my life may not be what you're looking for, but at least it gives you an opportunity through awareness is the only way that you can change the outcomes in your life. Getting information, exploring it. And that's all that Mark and I are doing here with Elevate Your Profit. So register, and this is what we got here. The registration link, let me pull up this banner right here. Tag your friends, turn on your notification, get this out there. This information you can take to the bank. And how to create that asset, $1 million asset. If you're 50, 60, you can do that in 1 or 2 years with some of the things that I have done. And I can show you how to do the same thing to create that income on a regular basis. That's one of the secrets we're going to share. in Thursday's presentation. There's the registration. You go to this link, Linktree Educa Group, LLC. When you get to this page, you'll see Thursday's webinar link. Click on it, register, show up, and you'll get a free copy of my book. Let me bring it up here. It's an ebook, Understanding How Debt Destroys Your Wealth Building Strategies. Break down the myths of debt. We've been built in a culture that debt is good, debt is not good. When you look at the most successful people, they don't have debt. They use debt in a different way than you and I have been taught to use it. They use it to leverage to increase their assets, not to buy stuff. They don't use credit or debt for depreciating assets. So there's a place for debt, but you got to understand what it's doing to you financially. So I just want to come on today. It's information you can take to the bank. You can take to the bank. There you go. So we'll see you tomorrow. I'll be another snippet on another one of the principles. So again, the announcement, get a copy of my free book by registering and showing up. With that all said, have a great day. Abundance to you and your family. And I'm so grateful for this moment to share this information.